Derby's neighbor to the west might say the same thing. W. Hayes came to the area from Illinois in 1870. He built a successful flour mill, acquired more property, and in 1891 platted his land for a town that would bear his name. It all began where Haysville's historic park now sits. Here you'll find some of the city's oldest surviving buildings and a recreation of its early days. W. Hayes went on to serve as Sedgwick County Sheriff and later moved to Tacoma, Washington, where he died in 1916. Meanwhile, his namesake started making a name for itself as the peach capital of Kansas.
At one time, Haysville would rival Georgia, probably. Anyone my age will remember coming down to the orchards every summer to pick peaches.
Peach trees were planted up and down Main Street as more than a half dozen orchards thrived in the sandy soil in and around the town. Haysville fully embraced this identity for decades. But as with Derby, things started to change in the 1950s. The nearby aircraft factories in Wichita were expanding, and that required new homes for the new workers. In one decade, Haysville's population jumped from around 100 to more than 4,000. Gradually, the demand for development ate away at the peach orchards.
The day comes that you don't realize you really have any orchards left. The peach trees that did line the streets have outlived their life expectancy, and a lot of the newer people who come in have no idea why we're being called the peach capital. As that happened, there was a struggle on, do we try and bring that back, at least symbolically? Do we move forward with something else? And it was hard.
But just a few years after the last orchard closed, Haysville faced a much bigger crisis. An F4 tornado blasted through the town on the evening of May 3rd, 1999. The storm claimed 6 lives, 150 homes, and 27 businesses. The twister split the town in half, tearing a path of destruction up Main Street through the center of town.
We had debris everywhere.
Included in the destruction was Norland Plastics, the city's second largest employer, along with much of the commercial district. Surrounded by wreckage, the former Vickers gas station, built in 1954, remained untouched.
To this day, we're convinced that the only reason the Vickers building survived was, one, its cinder block structure, but two, it's kind of aerodynamic.
It is believed to have been the first gas station to feature the futuristic bat-wing design that quickly spread across the nation. The designer was Wichita architect John Hickman. He was an apprentice of Frank Lloyd Wright and later designed the Century 2 Convention Center. By '99, the building was no longer a gas station, but its historic significance was beginning to be appreciated. The city purchased and restored the gas station to its original design. It was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 2019 and now serves as Haysville's Economic Development Office. Right next to it is Pride Park, which is where a liquor store and car lot sat before the tornado.
The lots really weren't buildable lots. They were old lots that would have been non-conforming. So that's when it was decided to put in kind of an entryway.
The Pride Park fountain gained statewide attention shortly after completion, winning an award from the Kansas League of Municipalities in 2015, and taking its place as a prominent landmark in post-tornado Haysville.
I would say what came back is different. I don't know that I'd want to say better, because I'm sure some of the people who got displaced would not agree with that. But we are different, and in my opinion, going forward, we are better now.
The tornado's silver lining may be the fellowship and community pride demonstrated throughout the year in gathering places that didn't exist prior. Meanwhile, Haysville continues to expand outward. A major drainage project on the west side of town will open up more land for development. The city has continually expanded and upgraded its park system, which now includes 16 parks and some 150 acres. Turns out the 260-mile-per-hour winds of that 1999 tornado were no match for the resilience of this community of survivors.